From the studios of Foxboro Cable Access, located in the center of Foxborough, Massachusetts, you are watching Around Foxborough.
Hi, I'm your host, Tim Green, and welcome to Around Foxborough. Tonight we have with us John Ryskamp. John, how are you tonight?
I'm doing well.
John, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe kind of what inspired you to write your book, Word Recycler.
Okay, I moved to Foxborough in 1970, and then I went to college in upstate New York, and I wanted to mainly write the book. I just was 70 years old, and I wanted to let my kids, grandkids, know about me. Figured I'd write my memoir.
Okay. In your introduction, you described the terrifying moment of hanging 180 feet above the cave. Would you, and you say it's kind of an early metaphor of being stuck. How would you translate a moment like that into how people would understand resilience?
Well, it's just a matter of, I choose the word resilience for the book, and sometimes we get stuck on many different things, and I just, it took me a while when I was hanging on the rope. I had to consult with my buddies 180 feet down below exactly how to get unstuck. And so it took me a few minutes to figure it out, but I got unstuck and kept on caving.
And you did that a lot as a young man?
Well, when I was in college, I did a lot of caving. Since graduating, I went caving occasionally in Idaho and with my wife and other places, caving in Belize, for example.
Okay, and you also were a ski patrol for 25 years, correct? You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, with the Idaho Falls Nordic Ski Patrol. So I was on cross-country skis, not downhill.
Okay, in cross-country. You talk about life-closing events, the death of your wife, Carrie, and then a serious car accident. How are these two experiences different in how they impacted you emotionally, spiritually, and physically?
Well, I think the death of my wife was the hardest from the standpoint of we just didn't expect it coming. She had been coughing for a long time and found out, it was cancer, and then she lived for 3.5 years after we discovered the cancer. Whereas my accident was pretty much, I had 3 to 5 seconds to say one or two words before the car hit me. So not much time to figure out what was happening. And then kind of woke up out in the snowfield on the side of the highway, and fortunately I had a ski patroller behind me who stopped and helped me and called the ambulance.
And you had the jaws of life take you out of that car, correct?
Yeah, I had the jaws of life, and so it was when I thought that I was paralyzed because I could not feel anything from my waist down. And so I told the people when they arrived that I was paralyzed. But fortunately, it wasn't that I was paralyzed, but a bone chip had severed my sciatic nerve. So that's why I couldn't feel my leg.
Gotcha. You had mentioned journaling and carrying through with diaries, journals, notes, and your travels, as well as those you shared with Carrie. How critical was writing to the healing process?
I was, writing ahead of time, so I wrote pretty much as a travel journal, going places. I didn't necessarily write as a healing process.
Okay.
It was more just to note my experiences as I traveled.
Okay. What did you take from that as you were journaling in your travels?
Well, the biggest thing is that it just helped my memory to, my caving expeditions were 50 years ago, and my travel with my wife around the world was 40 years ago. And I couldn't have written the book without the journals to document what was happening at the time.
Okay. What would you say the message is of the book?
Well, I hope people can enjoy it just from the storytelling and the stories I have, but also the resilience part is to, when problems arise, to put one step forward and take a step and move onward.
Okay. Having kind of gone through what you've gone through, is there anything, maybe somebody is going through some kind of trauma, is there any first step you think that they should take?
I'm not sure. I did see a therapist about a month after my accident, after I was physically recovered enough to get out of the hospital, and I realized it was going to be a long, long time and that I was permanently disabled. So I did talk to a therapist about things, and she helped me a bit. And then I married a therapist for my second wife.
There you go.
So,
what made you decide to turn all the, your journey that you've taken into a book?
the big thing is I started writing about the trip around the world with my first wife, Carrie, and I wanted my grandkids who never met their grandmother to understand what their grandmother was like. And so that was my intent. And then I started writing about the caving adventures, and I just kept on adding adventures. And after a while, I said, I have enough here to make it a book.
Okay.
So just kind of avalanche kept going.
Are you doing any adventuring now or anything like that?
I don't do a whole lot. I walk with a cane. So my latest adventure is kayaking on the Teton River and Trail Creek in Idaho. So
pretty good.
Kayaking is something I can do. I can't run or skate or ski and rock climb anymore, so I can kayak.
Okay. And I guess my final question would be, if you could go back and give maybe your younger self a piece of advice, what would that be?
Expect that there are going to be unexpected things. I mean, at 50 years old, I never thought I would become disabled instantly. At 43 years old, I never expect my wife would die.
Right.
So stuff happens.
Right. Okay. And John, where can people find the book?
It's on Amazon. Let's see, for $9.99 on the soft cover or $2.99 on Kindle.
Okay. And do you have a website as well?
Yes.
What would that be?
That's wordrecycler.com. And that's just, something so people can learn more about me and the book.
Okay. Well, John, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I'm your
You're
host,
welcome.
Tim Green. You can find all of our content at fcatv.org. Thank you so much.